Hey guys, happy Monday again. Feels like these Mondays just come up like lickety split. Like every time I turn around, it's a Monday. So I'm still battling this cold. I actually had a setback and because I didn't sleep very well for 2 days. And we drove for 2 days straight and it was pretty exhausting. So I kind of crashed yesterday. So I'm still kind of on the mend today, just taking it easy, nourishing my body with great nutrition, which is what you should be doing, and of course, hydrating the heck out of myself with some awesome mineral water and the Element electrolytes. So, yep, just trying to mend myself up and bounce back from this little bug. It's not COVID. I had a test. It's just a little nasty. I'm sure you can hear it's kind of just like a sinus kind of thing going on. I'm not coughing or anything. It's just all up here. So, anyway, I was thinking about topics for tonight. I had a few other things that I was going to talk about, but for some reason, this one kind of struck me because, it's kind of the common question that I get as a nutrition coach. And here's what I do as a nutrition coach to help people figure out what eating plan they should be on. So I wanted to kind of provide you my formula, like my super secret, this is what nutrition coaches do formula, to figure out what eating plan you should go on. So, there's a few steps that I go through when I first start working with a client. I ask a lot of questions first because I really need to understand, the person's kind of current status, health status, what they're currently doing right now, the things that they've tried in the past, the things that have worked, the things that haven't worked, their age, their weight, what their goals are, medications that they're on, medical issues that they may have. I go through this whole kind of understanding what's going on right now with my clients. So obviously you're you and you know what's going on with you. So you can skip this step with yourself. But I certainly definitely encourage you to do nutrition coaching at least for 90 days so you can kind of get a feel for and get some tools in your toolbox that work for you and definitely get results. And I'll tell you why that's super important later. So I go through all of that. I get to know all my clients, all their issues, health, current status, what their medications are, what their goals are, what their expectations are, and most importantly, which I think what most people don't take into account when they're trying to choose an eating plan, is what your current life is like. What season are you going through? How much time do you have to meal prep? How much time do you have to cook your own foods? How much time do you have to kind of do the things that you need to do, like working out, taking care of yourself, taking some downtime, getting good sleep, all that stuff, because all of that stuff affects your nutrition. So, that's another thing that you have to take into account. But there's so many different options out there. So where do you start? Okay, so you know where you're at with your health right now. You know what's worked for you in the past. You know what hasn't worked for you in the past. You know where you're at in your life right now. You know what your goals are. Okay, we've established all these things. Now what? You have a lot of choices, right? There's thousands and thousands. If you just go into any bookstore and go to the diet section, there's probably thousands of books you can choose from randomly and just get on some sort of eating plan or diet, quote unquote. What I would encourage you to do is, first of all, look at that data that we just collected. What foods have you done well with in the past? What foods have you not done well with in the past? What do you actually enjoy eating? What do you not enjoy eating? So, for some people, they're just not veggie lovers. They just have never really liked them. They don't really go out of their way to eat them, and they feel like they have to force feed them. So, and that's fine. So you may want to look at more protein-centric diets. So you see where I'm going with this, right? So you're not going to go vegan if you hate vegetables. You're going to be miserable, and you're probably not going to stick to it. So the bottom line is the perfect eating plan for you is the one you're going to stick to, right? I mean, obviously, why would you start something that you can't sustain or you're going to be miserable on, right? And this should be a long-term focus. An eating plan that's exactly what it is. That's why I don't use the D word, a diet. A diet means that you're restricting yourself and it's temporary, right? That's not helpful because we know that 9 times out of 10, you're going to go right back to where you were before, and you're going to put on that weight plus some that you lost and were successful with during that eating plan. So don't even bother doing an eating plan, even if it gets you good results, if you can't sustain it. It's just a waste of your time, and it damages your metabolism. It damages your body, and it makes your fat cells remember that they need to be bigger, right? So we want the fat cells to start forgetting. So it needs a long-term approach to shrinkage, right? So your fat cells do remember how big they were. They actually do not go away. They reduce in size. They don't go away. So you can make new fat cells, but fat cells do not go away. You would physically have to remove them from your body, like liposuction. So just FYI, they can get very small, they can shrink, but new fat cells never go away. Once they're there, unless they are surgically removed. So even if you lose weight, the fat cells that you had before are still there. They just shrunk, and they have a memory. So they prefer to be the largest size they were, obviously, because that is all about evolution. They want to be storing fat so they can help you survive when you're in a time where you cannot get food. Well, obviously that never happens now, but our biology doesn't know that because it's still operating as if we're our ancestors thousands of years ago. So we have to work with that, right? So you can't do this fluctuating, super restrictive eating, lose a lot of weight, and then go right back to eating the way that made you gain weight before. That doesn't make any sense. And your metabolism and your biology doesn't understand that, what your intent is, right? So the best eating plan for you is one that you can do long term. So you can get long-term results and the metabolic effects and the benefits of just a stable eating plan. So over time, your body can adjust its metabolism and give you long-term results. So that's the number one goal, is find the one that you're okay to eat for the rest of your life, hopefully. So, whatever that may be, think of the foods that you love. If you're big on veggies, okay, maybe a vegetarian version, or maybe paleo or Mediterranean would be great for you. For somebody who doesn't really like veggies, maybe more of a paleo or a carnivore or keto approach would be great for you. So start there, because you're going to be more enthusiastic about the foods that you're eating and make more efforts to find ways to eat the things that maybe you like to enjoy every once in a while, but in a version that complies with your new eating style. So, on occasion you may want to eat some bread or some grains, but, obviously with paleo or keto or carnivore, you're not doing that on a daily basis. But maybe you can find a way to enjoy those things in a way that helps your health, and it's a version that is the healthiest version of those things, and not have those every day like you used to have them. So the second step is to make sure it works for you, obviously. So everybody's biology is different, guys, and I've helped hundreds of people put them on different eating plans, and it is always a little bit of an exploration. We have to experiment. I've almost never, well, except for most of the guys do, but almost never put somebody initially on the first eating plan and they have amazing results and we just stick with that one. Why? Because the body is smart. The body's going to adjust, and the body is going to seek homeostasis. So what I do with my nutrition clients is I come up with 2 or 3 different eating plans that we experimented with for at least 30 days and got good results from. So good results would be, feeling better, healthier, more energetic, maybe losing weight, losing fat, improvement on body composition, maybe a resolution of some health conditions, things like that. So we don't want to just choose one. We want to find a couple, 2 to maybe 3 ways that you can eat, and you can switch that up. So when your body does hit a plateau and you want to keep getting results, or you still need to get results, then we can swap out with the other one that you know works for you. Now, not everything's going to work, right? So you have to do a little bit of experimentation. And this is where, if you have a difficult case, if you have a lot of weight to lose, have a lot of chronic health conditions, if you are, especially a woman over 40, you're more likely going to need some help from a professional to do this, because you're going to get frustrated, you're going to stop getting results, and you're going to quit. And then you're going to go right back to, that unhealthy state as well that inspired you to start doing something for yourself in the first place. And then you're on this horrible loop and you don't know how to get out of it. How to get out of it is finding 2 to 3 to 4 different ways of eating that continuously get you results. So when you do hit a plateau and you stop getting results, then we can swap to the next one and you get started again. It's not a quick result plan. It's just not realistic, because your body is not built to do that. So what you need to do is just have this long-term plan where you're cycling through these different stages, these different tools, and continually getting baby-stepped results, right? So it's, unfortunately for a lot of people, you have to look back and say, okay, realistically, I've done decades of damage to my body, and it's pretty silly to expect amazing results and the return back to, when I was in my 20s in 30 days or 60 days, right? We have these unrealistic expectations, and unfortunately, the fitness and diet industry do not help this at all. They make these false promises. They show people who have, had these huge results, yet they don't show them a year later and tell you whether or not they were able to keep them. So, you have this idea in your mind that is completely unrealistic, and it kind of messes with your head. And that this is the hardest part about this, guys, is when I'm working with, my nutrition coaching clients, it's kind of dealing with the mental fatigue that happens when you are expecting such a large result, but, realistically, that's not, going to happen, and still have the motivation to keep going. So this is where you kind of find your why. You pay attention to the non-scale victories. You really pay attention to, hey, I was struggling with having digestive issues and having to take Tums after I eat, or, having chronic constipation or diarrhea, or, stomach bloating, and I hardly ever deal with that anymore. It's been 4 months. I'm not having to take Tums. Pay attention to those things, because those are the things that are going to get you through and keep you going, instead of focusing so much on what is that number on the scale? What's my pant size? What's my dress size, right? And if you can just keep focusing on the little small health victories you're having along the way, then it motivates you to keep going. If you can't do that, most likely you're just going to throw in the towel, and you're going to go right back to those behaviors that you were doing that made you so sick in the first place. So, you're going to just shoot yourself in the foot. You would have made all this effort for nothing, and then you're right back where you started. So, taking it slow, the tortoise and the hare kind of thing, right? This is what you have to do. You have to take the baby steps. You have to focus on the little victories instead of looking at the top of the mountain and saying, well, I want to be there right now. That's just silly. So we've already damaged our body for too long. You cannot expect the results and to turn back time in 30 days after 10, 20, 30 plus years of damage to your body. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with your biology. Your body can heal. I would quote Dr. Christie, there is hope, your body heals. But you have to be realistic about that. So that's how you pick your eating plan. You focus on where you're at in your life right now. What kind of results do you want? What do you like eating? What do you think you can sustain long term? And bottom line is, if it's not whole, real foods that you are making yourself that was taken off an animal or came out of the ground, if it's in packages and it has ingredients of words that you cannot tell me what they are and they were not produced by nature, then that should not be a part of your eating plan, because that is not food. That is food type of substances or food products. You are not going to heal your body with food-like products or food substances. That's artificial and it's not real food. So any plan, I don't care which one you pick, it has to be real whole food. So although I'm a carnivore, I'm not anti-vegan, I'm not anti-vegetarian, I'm not anti-paleo, I'm not anti-Mediterranean. All of those diets have in common, though, are real whole foods, right? So they're focused on the things that, the plants that came out of the ground and the animals, you know, that live on this land that are ready for slaughter, right? That's what we're focused on, or the fish from the sea. So real whole foods. If you open your cabinets right now, and a majority of what you eat is found in a box or a bag or a can, then you are not actually eating food. So you really have to kind of check yourself and set up a system, even if it means that you spend a little bit more money. I just worked with a client, but Friday, I think it was. She's just like, and I love her honesty, and I've had people like this in the past. She's just like, I'm not cooking. I'm not shopping. That's it. Okay. Then you're going to pay more money, and you're going to pay for a really great food delivery service, and you're going to get real whole foods that are made without chemicals and, you know, all sorts of, nasty ingredients. And it's going to be more expensive, but guess what? If this is realistic for you, then that's what we're going to do. And she was all for it. So I sent her the whole list of like 4 or 5 companies so she can start ordering her food. And that's what you need to do. She's in her season of life where it's just not realistic for her. So we found a solution, right? So she can take those baby steps towards her health goals every day. So be realistic. Don't, come up, oh, I'm going to, make a 4-course meal every night when you literally have 20 minutes to cook. So figure out a system that works for you. What's wonderful about this world right now is that we live in just like a you can have it at your doorstep kind of thing. So, you can order from meal delivery services that are actually very healthy. You can do some of those like Home Chef or Blue Aprons where they send you all the ingredients and all you got to do is take the 20 minutes to cook it. You can get your groceries delivered right to your doorstep. You don't even have to go to the grocery store. So there's a lot of kind of different hybrids of Dr. Christie and her patients. They all are members of this like a community produce club. Basically you can set up 2 times a month or 1 time a month where you just get whatever's in season in produce. You don't even know what's coming, but it's seasonal and it's from local organic farms. So you have that healthy seasonal produce, and it's delivered to your door once a month, twice a month. So you can participate in those things, and yes, they might cost a little bit more money, but if it saves you time and if it saves your health, then it's going to be worth it, right? And then you can supplement along the way. Obviously there's some options to have healthy whole food types of like protein shakes and things like that for the to-go stuff, so you're not going through fast food and eating things out of plastic containers or packages and going to the gas station and just grabbing a candy bar and a soda when that's not going to help you get towards your health goals. All right, guys, hopefully that was helpful. That's kind of the formula I use to help my clients when I first start setting them up with a nutrition plan, trying to figure out which one would be the best for them. And then I'm really just there to just kind of strategize and try different approaches and get 2 or 3 tools in the toolbox so we can keep rotating through those to continue to get results. And that's super important. So if you have a pretty hard case, if you have chronic health issues, if you have a lot of weight to lose, or if you're a woman over about the age of 35, 40, then you're going to need those 3 or 4 tools to keep you progressing. Guys, you have a little bit easier. You're so lucky. All right, guys, have a great day. Hopefully that was helpful.